Morning all, Mutton here, and I'm at the docks today to take a little boat trip. But where might I be going to, you might ask? Well, join me on today's vlog and we'll find out. I'm on a boat at the moment on the way to the Islands of Cies. I'll tell you more about it when I arrive. So my decision to come here was very much a last minute one. I didn't even know that these islands I'm going to exist in. And the procedure for coming here is actually a bit complicated. I was glad I got up early and sorted this out. Have a check of the timetables and then you have to apply to the local maritime authority for a place on the island for a day. I think you can camp as well, but that's a slightly or an even more complicated process. But what you do is you can do this online or go to their office. You put in an application, and if they have less than, I think it's 2,000 visitors going in the day, you can go, and of course you can book well in advance. And then once you have an authorisation code from them, you have 2 hours in which to book a ferry ticket, which I did, and then I nearly missed it because I couldn't find the office and where the boat went from, but all ended well. Oh, cripes, it's clouded over, we've hit the open sea, and it is getting a bit rough and choppy out there. Oh well, I didn't have any breakfast, so there's nothing to go over the side if the worst comes to the worst. So, there we are folks, I've arrived. It was only about a 45-minute ferry journey, but it did start getting a little bit rough at the end. Anyway, there were more procedures to follow on arrival. Disembarked and then had to show the QR code of our authorisation to somebody waiting on the pier. So you might wonder why I have a backpack on, and that's because you are not allowed to leave any rubbish on the island. You have to take everything back to the mainland. Anyway, I haven't had a coffee today, so that's the most important thing to be getting on with, and the people at the dock gave me a little map, so I'm going to study that and work out where I'm going to go. If you can see here, we have the island I'm on, the main island, the North Island to the right, and the South Island to the left. And there is a blue walk, a red walk, a green walk, and an amber walk. And the hardest of them is the amber walk, so that's the one we're going to do first. And if I've got time and energy, then we'll do the red walk on the main island. So of course there aren't actually any hotels on this island, but there is a camping site, and there are apparently 3 or 4 eating places, and it is entirely possible for once you might just get a vlog without food, but you might, it depends what's available. I was wondering which way to go. Those coloured routes I described earlier on the map are all pointed out, and this is the one I want to do, the Faro de Cies, the lighthouse. Whew, mind you, I don't like the look of this sign here. Hopefully somebody will tell me if that starts becoming a problem. So, a car on this island. I didn't think there were any, but must be somebody quite important. And here is the causeway we were talking about earlier that links the North and Middle Islands. Now, had I been doing this in the UK, I probably would have checked the shipping forecast first. I know a lot of my friends are also fans of the shipping forecast, although it does interrupt the cricket sometimes. However, I'm not aware of a Spanish version of the shipping forecast. If there is, please, if one of my Spanish friends is watching this, or any other friends who live in Spain watch this, let me know, because I'd love to hear about it. So here we are. Will Mutton take the high road or the low road? Well, I won't be in Scotland before anybody at this rate. This is so beautiful and spoilt and quiet. Limiting the island to 2,000 people being on it a day, maybe not such a bad thing, actually. And of course, not only did I not prepare for the wind camera-wise, I'm also probably the only person on the island hiking around in long trousers. But there we are. As usual, I didn't think. Yep, hopefully one last heave. I don't have the right footwear either for clambering over boulders and... If I can get to the top of there, up all those winding paths, I'll have earned my celery carpaccio tonight. Down at the bottom, there's one of the easier ones. Although, actually everybody seems to be doing this one and not that one. So, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The top of the lighthouse, the Ferry de Las Islas Cies. But of course, I'd like to add that a year ago, I could not possibly have done this. Maybe a year ago, but certainly 6 months ago, after a lot of the weight came on, no way I could have been close to doing this, especially with this heavy backpack on. But wow, what views, what views. Kind of encourages me to do the other walk, but we'll have to see how I feel about that later. Okay, well, I haven't eaten a thing today, getting a bit thirsty, probably don't want to open everything up in this strong wind, so let's head down and have the picnic. You can actually walk back to the dock all the way along the beach, but Mutton didn't come prepared for that either, and just has ordinary shoes on, so we'll take the standard route, shall we? Well, after that rather lengthy walk, about 6 kilometres, time for a spot of lunch. So I'll briefly pan down to what I've got. We have a sheep's cheese made with raw milk, I believe it says, leche cruda. And we have lomo iberico, which is pork loin, which is supposed to be a bit better than normal pork loin. A rather crushed loaf of brown bread, which I bought just before I boarded, and a full-fat plain yoghurt. So I did decide to go to the north side of the island. You can't actually walk all the way along the north side. Now the north side is a little bit steeper and hillier, and sort of have cliffs that run off into the sea, so presumably it gets a little bit too treacherous once you go far enough. I'll see how far I can go. Might have to do the short of the two northern routes so that I don't miss the boat back. But one thing that has intrigued me here are the trees. If anybody knows what these trees actually are, please let me know. I'm not an expert on this at all. The sort of hilly topography of this island reminds me a bit of Madeira a little bit. Mind you, at one stage I thought I was getting lost, but thankfully I did see those coloured signs telling me which walk was which, and I haven't actually even got to the junction between the red and the blue one. Now, if you're coming here and are wondering which walk to take, is it the north side? Well, the lighthouse route anyway. That starts off fairly gently, and then is actually quite a bit of a climb. Now, from what I've seen so far on this side there's a bit of a climb at first, and then it levels off and it's fairly flat after that. 40 metres for a man of mutton stature. Oh, we have to do that. Although we all know what's going to happen now, don't we? There's going to be a savage climb, or a big descent and a savage climb on the way back. Oh well, in for a penny, in for a euro, or whatever they say here. Another good thing here is that it might be the Lomo cheese and bread talking, but I thought I was going to try a piece of Galician beef tonight. But even though Galician beef is the best, you can get that anywhere in Galicia and anywhere in Spain, I thought, no, let's have some more seafood tonight. Maybe a well-earned glass of Albarino as well. And some of you may or may not know that Galicia is part of the Celtic family of nations. Hello, Mr. Lizard, moving on the rock. Yeah, this I never knew. Jules Verne on the islands. So where are we going now? I guess we go to the Sfaro Lighthouse. My shoes are not good enough to go to the bird watching area up those rocks. Having said that, this is hardly a smooth pathway in itself, but hopefully not too long to go now. Nearly there, 160 metres left. And as predicted, downhill, so there will be a bit of a climb back. All good for the soul, I suppose. Aha, so there we have it. The other lighthouse on the other side of the island. I think there might be more than two, actually. Solar panels everywhere as well, and the ubiquitous gulls. Ooh, I don't like the way they're flying so close. I hope I'm not near a nest or something. Okay folks, that's the lighthouse at both ends of the island. Obviously this one isn't quite at the end, there's a bit further to go, but you can't really go any further. So I'd better head back, because we wouldn't want to miss the boat and have to camp for the evening, would we? That's me back at the pier nearly. Have a little drink before we go. I have about half an hour till my boat, so in great time. Cracking day out. Went from the pier to the south of the island to see the big lighthouse, then to the north of the island to see the smaller lighthouse, but stunning scenery all the way. And now, of course, towards the end of my day, the sun's come out and it's glorious. Take refreshment is indeed what I'm about to do. But before I go, I do hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember, like, share and subscribe as always. If you remember, there are two companies that can take you here, two sailing companies. I'll leave the links in the description box. And don't forget, you do need to get authorisation from the Maritime Authority in Vigo before you can come here. But that is relatively simple online. You just need your ID card or passport to punch in online, date of birth and so on and so forth, and you can get it pretty easily. But, the big but, 2,000 visitors a day. If there are already 2,000, you just can't come. There are also two restaurants on the island, but you have to, I think they close at 4 for serving food, and they got kind of mixed reviews, so I thought, well, I'll just bring my own stuff anyway. Also, don't do what I did and take ordinary shoes and ordinary trousers. Bring some shorts or some swimming, wherever you want to go swimming, and maybe some walking shoes. Loads more great content coming your way from Portugal, Spain and wherever else I end up on this summer trip. Bye for now, see you on the next one, and don't forget, you can't beat a bit of mutton.